Hi, thanks for watching. I'm Jair, and I'm going to be giving you a quick a comparative run through of the old and new CHOA site. So you're currently looking at the old CHOA site, and the first thing that I want to point out is that there are 12 navigation items across both the top and this green section here. If you were to click on some of them, you would notice that there's a lot of different components and different sublinks going on. Same thing with each of those sections here. Some have images, some have these large green circles. Medical services is a long list. So sometimes there's not as much consistency as we would like to see. Therefore, we took each of the different components from the navigation and started to group them together and separate them based on relevancy. And this was decided based on industry standards and user research. So we took each item and basically thought, should this remain? Why or why not? The remaining items got grouped together to become our new navigation, and then we also chose 3 to 4 featured items. So now, if we move over to the site that we created during the hackathon, you can see first and foremost that there are only 7 items in the navigation instead of 12. And when we click on some of these larger items here, it's a lot more organized with categories or headers beneath the links. And on the left side, once again, these are the featured items to really help navigate and streamline user flows for users to achieve their outcomes or their goals faster. Heading back to the old site, you'll notice that in the top section here, there are a lot of things that are redundant. Make an appointment, find a doctor, find a location. As soon as I scroll down, they occur again. Make an appointment, find a location, checking wait times, etc., etc. So one thing we wanted to do was to rethink the organization of these items and reduce that redundancy. So let's take a look at the new site again. Beneath it, now we reorganize it to be visit types. So we really believe, based on our user research, that parents or caregivers, as they're entering into this site, have a very targeted goal in mind, whether it be to provide or set up an appointment with primary care, or if they have an emergency. These 4 options are going to be the most critical user flows, and so we wanted to place them front and center for those users. The third thing I want to share is how we prioritize web pages. So for example, if you were to go to the check wait times on the old site, you'll be greeted with this image and kind of little explanation. And then as you scroll down, there's some more information on wait times, things to expect, and then you see a map. And it's not until you continue scrolling down until you actually reach those wait times, which is likely what users are actually wanting to see. So if we compare that to our new website and we go to the emergency section, we are also greeted by this image and explanation, but directly beneath it, we do have those wait times. And then beneath that, an explanation of things that we treat, the difference between emergency department and urgent care, and why a child should be taken to the emergency department. This change in prioritization can really impact users in reducing the anxiety that they're experiencing, especially because if they're checking wait times, chances are their child is experiencing an extreme medical emergency. And so we want to make sure that the thing that they're looking for is right there in front of them. And so far, these changes created some really amazing impacts. We were able to only feature the most pertinent information based on our UX research. We consolidated 12 navigation tabs down to 7 to streamline the website flows and really tighten that information architecture. And the navigation and landing page are now far more action-oriented based on the most critical user flows on CHOA's website. The last thing that I want to mention that is really exciting for us is the fact that we also lowered the screen length of 5 different pages from around 50 to 70%, depending on the page. So this is the old CHOA site in telemedicine. You can see here that there's kind of this like top section, this explanation, and as you scroll down, there are kind of these redundant headers and checklists, and then other components here and things that you can open up for your questions and other sections. And users found this to be quite confusing. And so when we looked at the reimagined version, we did a little bit of UX writing and broke down the most important sections to making, preparing, and just extra questions of the virtual visit with an explanation beneath it in case someone just didn't know what telemedicine was, and then a checklist. So once again, reprioritizing the most important information to the top and also shortening the length of the page. See, it's already over. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of CHOA's website, which was only created in a single week.